Hey, this is a video on how to find the trend. So I'm opened up the yearly dollar here, and you can see several things on here. First of all, I'm on a 10-minute chart, and you can see that the current candles are gradually moving up. However, I want to point out this moving average up here. This moving average comes from a larger chart, and it's telling us the real trend is down, even though this is an up move. So what's important to understand is that there are usually two trends happening in the marketplace. First of all, there's the dominant trend. That would be this red line coming down here like this, telling us that the real trend is overall down. However, this is the trend of the day, which is, in this case, a counter trend move. It is a move going against the trend, and typically those moves are designed to either reverse, or if they don't reverse, to entice more sellers in if you're going down, or to entice more buyers in if you're going up. So how do we solve this dilemma? Well, the first thing we do is we get off of this chart and we go up to a 240 chart. Now occasionally you might want to go up to a day chart, but for now we're just going to go up on a 240 chart, and we can see that on the 240 chart, which is a 4-hour chart, that's where the big boys are trading, that the trend is down, as you can see here. Okay, so that uptrend that we saw right here was this little move that you're seeing right here on these last candles right here. Now that's why it's so important that you don't try to find the trend on a lower trend line, on a lower time compression, because you'll get snookered into buying when the reality is, as you can see, the trend was down. Okay, and you can see over here that it would be very easy for us to say this is the trend that's going up. Okay, so let's take a look at this for a second, and we'll just take this little piece right here, and I'm going to put a little trend line on it from this bottom here, right here down to here. Now, in order to have a trend in effect, you actually have, that wasn't a very good line. I actually need to connect that to the bottom of this candle. I don't know why I did that, so we'll just connect to the bottom of that candle right there. Come on. There we go. Okay, so what we need to know a trend is in effect is we have to have higher lows. Okay, so here's the low we're keying in on. Here's the second low. You can see this low is higher than this one. This next one is 3 is higher than this one, and it takes 3 to know that you have a trend. Okay, you can have 2 and you might think you have a trend, but once you have the third higher low, then you know that you have a trend. Now what's so important is that you don't try to form fit trends into, just including the candles, because if you do that, you'll never see where the breakout occurs. So you can see right here where they broke out, coming out here, this is the point where they told you, you see this thing we've been doing over here? We're no longer doing that. That's what that means. It's very simple. Alright? So once they break it right here, because of this previous support back here, they should have bounced and gone up, but they didn't. And that is your telltale sign that now we're going to turn and go the other way. Okay? And you can see exactly what happened there. Right? So as we continue along down here, we can see that if we could just take this line off, okay, this former line right here, we'll just remove that, and we'll put a new line on, and we'll take it from this point right here back up to here. Right? So this will not be an uptrend now until it can break this line. Okay, now it may come all the way back up to the top here and turn and go back down. Still a downtrend, even though this whole move was up. Right? Because this is the dominant trend and this is the trend of the day. So how do you make this really easy? Well, we decided that the trend was just so important but so hard for traders to deal with that when we created a moving average specific to show it to us so that we don't have to worry about it. We know that when we're looking down here in a 10-minute chart that is the dominant trend, as we saw on the 240 chart, okay, and that this is a movement against the trend. So in reality, although there are plenty of buys here, they are counter trend buys. You can see here's a nice buy for about 50 pips and that kind of thing. These don't really move like when they're moving with the trend. And I'll go over here back and just to prove that to you. These are moves with the trend, okay? And you can see there's a significant move down, there's a significant move down. You see all these are great little moves down, as you see that. We can scroll even further in the past, you can still see this the dominant trend is down. So even though we had these nice moves going up, that was the trend of the day. As soon as the trend of the day got in line with the dominant trend, that's when you see these nice strong moves. You see these early signals of arrows and painted candles telling you that there are good opportunities to get in here. And all along here, look at how clear it is. Here's the dominant trend. Once we're going with the dominant trend, there's a nice trend there, a signal there, a signal there, a signal there, signals there, so on and so forth. So, finding the trend is very important. You use a 240 chart. Alright? Remember, there are two trends that are always in effect. The dominant trend and the trend of the day. The best trades occur when the trend of the day and the dominant trend are the same. That doesn't mean there aren't great trades counter-trend, but counter-trend trades are more risky, do not go as far, have a harder time moving against the trend. So I hope that helps you.